welcome to Best by Decade Horror Movies presented by ActionNerd.com. It's where my daughter and I, Danielle, go through and look at the scariest movies by decade. Like and subscribe. Hey, this is Steve from ActionNerd.com, and I'm with my daughter, Danielle.
Hello, take 28.
Yeah, it's amazing if you don't hit that record button, what you got to do. But listen, we're counting down the best of decade horror, and this is the 2000s. And this is one of your favorite decades, right?
Oh, for sure. Once we start getting into the 2000s, where I was actually a teenager or some type of form of adult,
Yeah.
I can actually watch these movies and understand them. And so, yeah, I love this list of movies that we're about to talk about. Some of my favorites are on this list. So I'm excited to go through them.
Yeah, so let's start with the number one, and this is The Others. And this was Nicole Kidman's, I guess, first step into horror movies. What was cool is the director insisted on practical effects rather than CGI.
Right.
CGI had just started getting very popular. We talked about it with The Frighteners, the Michael J. Fox movie last episode. This one, he wanted very, very practical things and have that really crazy, chilling atmosphere and chilling vibe to it. And I guess it got to the point where Nicole Kidman actually had nightmares over while filming this, just
Ooh,
because it was
spooky.
so creepy, which I think is fantastic. Um,
Yeah, I like this movie. It's not one that I would say I would watch again, but I love Nicole Kidman. She's a great actress. I think she's also really pretty, so she's appealing to the eye.
yeah.
But I think it's a good movie to see at least once for sure. Obviously, it made the list, so it must be pretty good. But it's not one that I would like watch again.
Yeah, the thing with this movie is, remember Sixth Sense was last
Hmm.
decade. This one really took that to the end and made it the same type of thing. It also was heavily, heavily inspired by two other movies, The Innocents in 1961 and then The Turn of the Screw. Both of them, the director credits with some not ripping them off, but inspiration, obviously. The thing was a massive hit, and it was a $17 million budget for it. It made 200 million,
Oh
and
wow,
Nicole Kidman had just come off of her role in Moulin Rouge, so she turned it
love
down
that
at
movie.
first. Yeah, she said
Yeah,
forget it.
mm,
So
interesting.
yeah, and if it reminds you of Sixth Sense, I mean, the ending is
Yeah.
almost straight there. She won a Golden Globe for it. So her
Oh,
performance. So that
impressive.
I guess it was glad she didn't turn that down, huh?
Yeah.
So you loved it.
Yeah, it's a good movie, but like I said, it's not one that I'm gonna watch again or maybe even recommend to people. It's a good movie, but yeah, there's better,
Yeah,
like
I
this
thought
next one.
looking at the movie poster that it could have been much better. I mean, it's just again off of her face. That's it. It's her face
Right.
looking to the side, and I thought, okay. The trailer's good. The trailer was really well done. And
Yeah.
again, we're still in the 2000s. We're still seeing the trailers mainly at the movie theater rather than online. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it was a fun one. Let's go to number two, which is The Descent. And The
The best.
Descent was I thought, phenomenal movie. Came out in 2005. It's all takes place in a cave, right? And then
Hmm.
and I thought it was filmed in a cave. It was actually filmed in a soundstage. They built that whole cave. So they
Crazy.
didn't want to take the chance of or the danger of filming in a cave, so they built it.
Yeah.
And
Makes
it was
sense.
scary. I mean, even the movie poster has that one scene where the girl falls in all the blood and
Hmm.
her head just pokes up. That's the movie poster. And of course, on it, they call out big names. So they call out Saw, Hostel, Alien. And they call it the scariest movie in years. I don't know.
Hmm.
I thought it lived up to a lot of that. I thought it was very scary. What did you
Yeah,
think?
I agree. I love this movie. This is one on like my top 10 of all time, maybe even top 5 of all time. I love the sequel. I love the spooky creatures. They're really scary. They are actually scary. You know how some movies like it's like, man, it's okay. But
Yeah.
these ones actually scared me. There's that suspenseful, nature of the film. But I love this movie. I think it's gory, it's nasty. There's lots of twists and turns. It sometimes it's like a little emotional because there's
Yeah.
different if you remember the movie, there's just like sad parts of it that happen. And so I love this movie. It's totally on my top 10, maybe my top five. I'll
Yeah.
watch it
So
again and again.
you talked about the creatures, and the creatures were made to look like if bats were human. And so it was
Oh,
like a
okay.
humanoid bat. So that I thought they did an excellent job of it. The
Yeah.
other thing that the director wanted to stay away from was any jump scares, which was very unusual. I mean, everybody loves a
Yeah.
jump scare in a horror movie, but he wanted to create a really, really tense atmosphere, a very, very scary look at the claustrophobic
Hmm.
situation that these folks are in. I thought it was really well done. And Neil Marshall, the director, said, I want to stop this whole women are always the victim and
Hmm.
make it an all-female cast. And that's what, and that they accomplished that, and it did great. The
Yeah.
interesting thing that I read were there were two endings. So the UK
Um,
ending was much, much more intense and scary than the US.
okay.
And I
I'd
haven't
be
seen that.
curious to see.
Yeah, I'd like to search that out because
Same.
how much scarier can it be? I don't know. But it was really well done. I just think it was great, and it was shot in 9 weeks, which is
Yeah, that's
nothing.
quick. That's
So
quick.
super cool, super cool. He
Yeah.
also directed another British cult film, Dog Soldiers. If you've ever seen that,
I don't think
that I believe that was a zombie type thing. But
okay.
I'm not positive on that. But that was a good one. Anything else
Yeah.
you wanted to add on this?
No, just that I love this movie. If you haven't seen it, I 100% highly recommend it. It's one I can watch again and again. And if it's one you can watch again and again, you know it's good. So I
Yeah,
love it.
it was great. So number three, we start getting into the stuff that I'm not a big fan of, but I did see this one and I did enjoy it. We're talking about Saw at number three.
Oof.
This was in
Yeah.
2004. This was something I think that changed everything. And guess how
Yeah.
many days it took to shoot, or weeks, or months?
Mm, 3 months.
18 days.
18 days.
18
Okay, that's
days to
crazy.
shoot this thing. And
Wow.
they built that bathroom set, the iconic opening
Yeah, yeah,
bathroom
yeah.
set. And
Okay.
yeah, it was cool. Tobin Bell, who played Jigsaw,
Hmm.
he actually did lay completely still the entire scene of the bathroom scene. So you remember there was that other body?
The body.
He stayed, that was him, stayed still the
Oh,
whole
wow.
time, which
Okay.
is, he didn't want to use a body double and he didn't want to use a dummy, unless you
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
consider him doing that being a dummy. But I think that was really cool. It was never intended for the theater. It was to go
Really?
straight to DVD or video. And
Right.
but with such the buzz that it had at festivals, they had to go theatrical distribution, which I thought was great.
Hmm.
1.2 million is all it took to make this thing, and it grossed $100 million.
Nice.
Brought
Yeah,
some.
I think. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say it brought that the famous Billy the Puppet,
Yeah, true.
which I didn't
True.
know that's the name at all.
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't know it was called Billy the Puppet.
Yeah. Yeah. I think this like changed the horror game. I think because this is the one, if you remember, this is the one with the needles too, like where the girl falls in the needle pit.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
like those scenes. Oh, and I actually just saw some article or video saying that they had to replace the needles individually, one by one, with some fiber needles. I don't know. So obviously the person could find it, but then like six real needles got mixed in with it, so they had to go through, take them all out, and find the real
Oh
needles
my
because they couldn't
gosh.
like have her go in there. But I love this movie. I like I said, I think it changed the horror game because I felt like we'd never really seen something so crazy. I
Yeah.
mean, it was like so suspenseful, the twists and turns, and then it just shot off with all these different sequels and all
Oh,
the rest of the
tons.
Saw franchise.
Well,
So,
they shopped it by making a very short film that was originally, and it's on the original DVD release. They show you that short film, and that's what they
oh,
used to shop it around to people to get investors on it. I think, listen, it was a fun movie. Now, I think I saw one, two, and three, and I was about done after three.
yeah, Agreed.
But that bear trap, the reverse bear traps thing,
Uh,
that was so well done, and they did it using real mechanical parts.
oh
Ugh.
God,
Yeah,
that's scary.
it is cool. Well, listen, number four is 28 Days Later, one of my all-time favorite. And
I love
and
this
I
one.
was corrected. It's not really a zombie movie. Did you know that?
Well, what is it, like infection or something?
So I always called it the movie with the fast zombies because they ran, right? They ran
Yeah,
after you.
they did.
Zombies usually are just real slow, and I could even outrun them. But these were fast zombies. It's actually more of people with a virus.
Okay, so like an
So
infection.
I
Yeah,
still think it's zombie, right? So it says
same.
they were not technically zombies, but were humans infected with the rage virus.
Okay,
Okay, I'll,
interesting.
I'll take that. Um, they filmed it the first opening scene where nobody was around at
Hmm.
4 a.m. in London, so it looked like nobody was
Oh,
around.
nice.
And local police helped them out by stopping the cars, which was nice.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
I just think it was done good. They used a lot of digital video. Danny Boyle is the director on this
Hmm.
to give it that urgent documentary feel. So just the way they filmed it made you get more freaked out. And he was actually inspired by the real life outbreaks of diseases like Ebola. Like, what if this happened? Now, of
Right.
course, this is before COVID. So what if
Yeah.
COVID-19 had turned you into rage virus, non-zombie, fast?
Sometimes it did.
Yeah, yeah, it did. So obviously, this was influences of World War Z, Walking Dead,
Yeah.
Fear the Walking Dead, Daryl's story, Carol and Daryl, with Michonne and Rick, and everybody else that's capitalizing off of this. But this was, I thought, a great one that was inspired, obviously, by George Romero's Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, those
Oh,
series.
yeah.
Did it had three endings on this also?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
with all these endings? I need to know them.
Yeah, I guess I know marketing helped with that with having the alternative endings, and if you bought the movie, obviously you get
Right.
those endings. So I thought that was cool. Very successful, and it led to a sequel of 28 weeks later.
Yeah. Yeah. Is this the one with Killian Murphy in it and his butt at the beginning? He's like naked.
I don't. Yeah, it is Killian Murphy. He plays Jim.
Okay, he's my favorite because I love
Is
him in
his
Peaky
butt a hottie
Blinders.
patati butt?
I looked it up
His butt?
specifically. Yes, I looked up this specific scene because I love Killian Murphy.
Oh,
He's not
well,
as
yeah,
attractive in
that's
this
that's
movie,
him.
but
But in one of the alternative endings, Jim's death is in a hospital.
oh, okay. I thought you were
So
going to say something funny about a butt.
yeah, yeah, no, yeah, he was eaten by a butt.
Yeah,
His butt was
I thought
eaten
it was
off at the last scene. That's the fourth alternative ending.
perfect.
So number five is Paranormal Activity, and I just
Oh,
watched this less than 2 weeks ago.
can I talk about this
It's
first?
all
Let me
yours
go
because I
first.
was not impressed.
Oh my God, this, I know I said Saw changed horror. I felt like Paranormal Activity changed this. And I think I watched it with Nan in the little loft that we had at the Westcott house. I'm pretty sure I watched it with her for the first time. It is so scary. It's perfect. Don't even shake your head. I love this movie. I think it is like if you're scared of paranormal stuff, demons, that kind of stuff, it's so scary when it shoots when you're like it goes to the scene where they're in bed and then the time goes forward and it's like 3 a.m. and you're just waiting suspenseful, waiting for something to happen. I love this movie. I'll watch it again and again. I think the sequels after are good. It follows this really crazy storyline that you're just like each new movie comes out and you're like finding new things about it. I love Paranormal Activity. I'll watch it again and again. It's my favorite, one of my
So
favorites.
I watched it a week or two ago. I've never
Okay.
seen it. I had heard that I would be scared to death of it because I am a chicken with most horror
Yeah.
movies. And it did nothing to scare me.
How?
Nothing.
You
I don't
really weren't
know.
scared?
Not one bit. It
Did
didn't
you watch
scare
it at
me.
nighttime?
No, of course not.
Well, that's when you get to watch it
Of
home
course
alone
not.
at night.
Well, the cool thing was that remember it It cost 15,000 to make. I think we came up with a couple
Oh,
different
really?
numbers.
Wow.
Eventually, it grossed $193 million, which was great.
Good for
Um,
them.
it was shot in the director Ornell Pelly's own home. Save
Oh,
money
wow.
there.
Okay.
Um, it was the first viral marketing success. So think
What do
about
you mean
that.
by that?
That means that campaigns were driving it.
Okay.
Social media was driving it in a way to get a theatrical release, and it did. Um,
Hmm.
the ending was changed from the
Yeah,
original
it
after
was.
Steven Spielberg watched the film and suggested
Oh.
a different ending. So,
There's a lot of alternative endings for this one, I felt like. But go on, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Here's one of your favorite things. They improvised most of the dialogue. The two
Perfect.
folks, Micah Sloat and Katie
Yeah,
Featherston,
love
to
it.
make it feel more authentic, which it did. Now, look at it,
For
it
sure.
did seem like a found footage type thing. No question
Hmm.
about it. It didn't seem really scripted. It was filmed in 7 days, a crew of three people.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
released five sequels. Five sequels came
Yeah,
out of this.
they're good. I wanted to watch, I think they're the fifth one, I think, is called Marked Ones. That one's really good too. And I wanted to watch it last week, but Tony said no. But I love I'm still shocked that you really weren't scared at all. Like there wasn't
No,
one part that was like when she's
no,
getting dragged out of the bed,
uh-uh.
like that didn't scare you?
No, I mainly
Oh,
I think because I had heard so much about it and knew most of the scenes that were coming up, it just
yeah.
didn't do anything for me though. But you know, here's the other interesting thing. So we talked about different endings. There's an
Hmm.
ending where they show her stabbing the boyfriend in the chest
Okay.
and then slitting her throat to the camera.
Yeah, that's
Rumored.
not
I've never
shown,
seen
right?
that ending, but that's a rumor. The
Yeah.
other thing that was I thought was really cool was Steven Spielberg felt his copy was haunted, and he had weird occurrences happening at his home after at while watching it.
Okay. Well, did he get his copy? Did he give it to
I
somebody
don't know
else
what
to
he did with it.
put it in some museum?
Yeah, who knows?
Well,
But
I'm
that
disappointed that you weren't scared of it because I
I
love this
was too because I thought I would be. I really I think I was. Where did I watch? Either on a plane a week or two ago or at the hotel, and it didn't do anything. I mean, if it did, I would have
one.
kept all the lights on at the hotel for sure. I'm not gonna sleep, but yeah, that wasn't anything that really got me super excited, or I
Mm.
was hoping it would, but it just didn't do it. So let's move to number six, which is Cabin Fever. This is Eli
Yeah.
Roth directed, and you know him from Hostel, and he's
Oh,
got
okay.
a big horror thing in Vegas by Planet Hollywood. I don't know if it's still there, but Eli
Mm.
Roth is all about horror and
Okay.
pushing the limits. And if I remember, this movie um, was just fantastic. One of the first movies that we just talked about, Paranormal Activity. One of the first movies that really became popular because of the internet was
Oh,
this
okay.
one. So did you like this one?
Yeah, I like this movie. I haven't seen it in a while, and I do want to watch it again because I remember loving it. It's like that, like teens, or they're not teens, they're more like college kids.
Yeah.
Going to a spooky cabin, weird things happening. Isn't there some type of like infection that takes over people's body? I
Yeah,
just
it's like a
remember yeah.
flesh-eating virus
Hmm.
based on real bacteria such as
Yeah.
necrotizing fasciitis,
Perfect.
fasciitis or something like that. I don't know.
Careful what you say.
Careful with that word. It's
Yeah.
I Oiitis. There's no L. Sorry.
Barely read it.
Oh boy. Um, yeah, but this was rejected by every major studio. They said forget it.
Really?
Yeah,
Come on.
and then it went to the Toronto International Film Festival, was a huge hit, and then oh,
Oh,
guess what? The door starts getting knocked on.
yeah. Now they like it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I don't know. I mean, it pays homage in the opening credits to Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1974,
Uh,
which inspired Eli Roth. I just thought it was a really fun movie.
mhm.
Lots of it reminded me of the 1981 Evil Dead. You know, another
Yeah. Yeah.
cabin in the woods horror film. It was very gory, which Eli Roth really wanted to be known as the gore master. Hostel, I still have an issue with. I can't watch
I
that drill scene.
Same. I haven't seen Hostel all the way through. I don't know if it's on any of our lists, but that yeah, I have never seen it all the way through because it's nasty.
Yeah. I
From
mean,
what I
and they
remember.
referred to that genre as torture porn or horror torture
Yeah.
porn. And that, you know, not that I'm a prude, but that had no appeal to me. I mean, it just,
Yeah.
and then you get stuff like Terrifier now, and it's way
Yeah.
over the edge. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, who knows? So that's all I got on this one. Um,
Yeah.
Number seven though is The Grudge from 2004.
Yeah.
And remember, we had The Ring last
Yeah.
decade. The Grudge brought Sarah Michelle Gellar into it, who was very popular with Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And
Hmm.
this is just a remake of the Japanese horror movie Ju-on the Judge or the Grudge, the
Yes.
Judge. This is the People's Court with Judge
Yes.
Wapner as a
God
ghost.
bless America.
Yeah. Directed by the same filmmaker though, that which is very
Oh,
unusual.
really?
That was cool, I thought. Um,
Yeah.
it was filmed in Japan, and many of the crew members were Japanese, and they didn't speak a
Okay.
bit of English, which created a unique filming experience for the cast that was all
Yeah.
English speakers. So
Right.
I don't know.
I
Made a
like
lot
this
of money.
movie. Yeah, I bet. I mean, like I feel like The Grudge and The Ring were really popular movies, like the new ones, the ones that we're talking about right now. Because I remember watching them with my sisters, and yeah, I love The Grudge. I love The Ring. I don't know if that's on our list yet or if it's coming up. But The Grudge was super scary. I
Yeah,
like that
it
movie.
was those scenes that most haunted houses now or home haunts recreate, where you get some skinny girl walking the crab walk backwards.
Yeah,
I mean
yeah,
that most haunted houses now have somebody able to do that. I'm unfortunately unable to recreate that walk
yeah. Darn it.
whatsoever. But it is a good one, and it was directly related to what was so popular with The Ring and that kind of stuff with the crawling ghost. That's iconic. That's
Yeah,
that's the big thing with these movies. And there was the trend of bringing over Japanese horror and then billing it as super, super scary. I completely disagree. The Grudge didn't scare me whatsoever, and The Ring didn't scare me whatsoever. Not even close. And
really?
and I get scared at almost anything. And these had nothing on it. Nothing. I don't know. I just didn't work for me.
Yeah. I don't think The Grudge is, I think The Ring is scary. I don't think The Grudge is scary, but I still think it's one that people should see if they're a horror lover.
Yeah, well, apparently people have made this list do too. But
Yeah.
taking it to number eight, we get our good friend Stephen King back on the list with The Mist, came out in 2007. And
Okay.
I will tell you, watching this at the theater and walking out after it's over, I don't
Was
think
it
you could
Misty?
get more depressed with a bleak ending than this movie did.
Okay,
This
I have
was
something to say about it.
okay.
I haven't seen this movie because someone ruined the ending for me and I didn't want to watch it because I already knew what was going to happen.
Yep.
So I'm sad that I haven't seen it because I know it was probably really good, but the ending being spoiled to you and then the ending being extremely depressing,
Oh yeah.
I just didn't bother. So
No,
I'm
it
sad that I
was
haven't
it
seen
was
it.
more than extremely depressing. It was horrifying. The ending was so WTF, and I mean, it was just like you got to be kidding me because
Yeah.
there was no reason for that to have
What?
happened, yet it
Yeah.
did.
Yeah. Why couldn't they just make it a happy ending? Makes
I,
me
I
sad.
don't know. They just so the ending was the shocker of the whole thing. It really
Right.
caused everybody to just go, seriously, that's what's going to happen with this. That's how it's going to end. And um, yeah, it was just I just couldn't believe it. I could not believe that
Is
that
there a
happened.
is there a Mist 2 or was it just one and done? I
Um,
don't I
no, I
don't
don't think
think
there was a
there is.
mist two. I think there was just that one,
Yeah.
and it was a It was just crazy. The special effects were done by Greg Nicotero, who did them all on Walking Dead, and
Oh, okay.
they originally shot it in black and white to give it a more classic look. But I'm glad they didn't
I
release it
wouldn't
that
have
way.
liked that. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's weird.
yeah, good stuff though.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Let's go to let's see, what number are we on?
10, 11?
9, and we were
Oh,
just
never mind.
talking about this. This is Hostel.
Yeah.
This is the Eli Roth inspired by a website offering murder vacations in Thailand. That's how he came up
Horrible.
with this. Um, it was the start of torture porn horror as the genre, and
Yeah.
it was banned in several countries due to the
Oh, I
graphic.
don't doubt that.
Yeah. Um, Quentin Tarantino helped serve as the executive producer on this, helping gain film attention and a larger
Yeah.
audience because of his name. But I did not I didn't like it. And even in the trailer, it was advertising punishment and torture and all this stuff that I don't know. It wasn't for me. I didn't want to
Yeah.
see when they pulled the drill out and we're going to drill through the guy's
What
leg.
did they do? I don't like, I must have stopped at that point because I don't remember that scene. What was it? Can you
Yeah,
describe it
so
again?
basically the premise is two guys go to Europe or wherever and they go to hostel and they were kind of seduced to go stay there by these two chicks
Mm-hmm.
um and then they get taken down and they're punished and tortured and it's brutal. I mean, it's like those things and I guess it's been done before, but never where it looks real. The
Yeah.
special effects are so good on this that I just thought you got to be kidding me. And I didn't make it through it.
Yeah. Me neither. I haven't seen the whole thing. And I like the torture aspect of some movies, but like if it's too much, eh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I still
Yeah.
think it's probably a really good movie. Obviously, if it's on our list and it's well known, like everybody knows of Hostel, but
Yeah.
I just don't think I couldn't finish it.
Nope, me either.
Maybe
I
I'll
get
try it again though, because
I
that was
get,
a while ago.
yeah, I guess we fail at number 9. But then we
Wah, wah.
redeem ourselves with number
Yes,
10, The Dawn of the Dead 2004. So a
yes.
remake of the 1978 classic from George Romero.
Hmm.
Um, that this one introduced fast zombies also to the modern
Oh, okay.
audience. So director Jesus, Zack Snyder, ring any bells? DC Universe type stuff,
Okay.
makes his
That does
directorial
ring
debut
bells.
on this. Yeah, I just thought it was really, really well done, and they brought back the original film star Ken Foray to make a cameo as a televangelist in it. But this I thought was really good for something that they're going to redo a major classic and to be selfish, a major classic of my time period, my generation,
Right.
and
The
not blow it
dinosaurs.
was really good. Great
Yeah.
trailer, great movie poster. Took it back to the mall, which
Yeah.
I remember in Dawn of the Dead, I thought, wow, how cool would that be? Lock yourself in the mall, get all the
Yeah.
stuff you want free, and lock the doors. Zombies can't get you until, of course, you got broke into and they get you. There's some pretty intense scenes in this, and I thought they pulled the whole thing off so well, really
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, I like this movie. Classic. Is this considered a zombie movie? Or
Yes.
are they doing like
No,
infection? Okay, so yeah,
this is absolute zombie.
pure zombie. Yeah,
Yep.
good movie, a good remake, I think. And then they had that like little satirical spin-off, Shaun of the Dead or whatever, right?
Yes, yeah. So Shaun of the Dead almost made it to the bonus on this one because it was
Oh, really?
really well done. It was a lot of fun to watch. It was gory. It didn't hold back on the
Yeah,
gore or anything. But it was made to be a parody, and so it's
right.
not included on this. But yeah, I thought this was good. They did
Agreed.
a good job. Number 11 is Final Destination. This is from
Yes.
2000. And this idea came from a rejected episode of the old show. I hate to say that, but it doesn't seem old. The X-Files. Do you remember that?
Well, I love X-Files. Yeah, of course. I did
Yeah. So
not
this
know
was
it
supposed
came
to be
from
an
a
episode of that.
like okay. I'm curious how they could make a whole episode out of it.
Yeah. Obviously, it became a successful franchise. I'm not
Yeah.
sure. I think it's up to five.
Yeah, definitely five. I know there's five, and I've seen all five.
Well, did you love them or what?
Yeah, I keep saying this like, oh, this has changed horror, but I feel like these new types of movies like Final Destination did change the face of or put in a new genre of horror. I
Yeah.
love Final Destination. Everybody's scared. Okay, so this also comes into play of The Descent also had this theme or this thing happen. Everybody is scared to drive behind a semi truck with a bunch of poles or logs
Right.
because we
To
always
this
think they're
day,
gonna. Yeah, and I will never drive behind. If I no, I'm going to another lane. I'm
I
not
do
going
too.
behind that type of car. Same with like Final Destinations is just the whole franchise has a lot of iconic scenes. Like I'll never get laser eye, what's it called, LASIK, because of that one scene where the laser goes and like almost cuts her eye off and then she falls out of the building. There's
Did
just a
this
lot
have
of
did
yeah,
this
go
have
ahead.
the tanning dead Beth, or am I thinking of another movie?
No, that was in Final Destination for sure. I just don't know if it was the first or the second
Yeah.
one. This one I think had the airplane scene.
Yep,
Have
it did.
it, and you know what? I need to send. I'll find the video of it. But there's a behind the scenes of how they shot that, and it's like all like green screen craziness. But it's so good to watch how they actually shot it. Because that scene is terrifying. Obviously, I have a huge fear of airplanes, so that seems very traumatizing to me. But Final Destination, awesome franchise. I love them. Um, I think everybody should at least watch the first and second one for sure.
So what I thought was very interesting was most of the death scenes were based on real life urban legends and
Oh,
strange
really?
accidents. Yeah. So they
Okay.
scoured, however, internet at the
Hmm.
time or whatever, to find these urban legends of how people died. And, most of them are all completely fake, and then recreated that. And I thought that was
Okay.
really cool to do something like that.
That is cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff. I recommend it too. It's a fun watch.
Hmm.
I don't think there's a bad one in the franchise either. I
No.
don't think they got worse or stupid or predictable. I mean, you knew what was going to happen, obviously.
Yeah.
Somebody predicts it, and yeah, but you got to avoid it. But I thought it was really well done. Really well
Yeah.
done.
I like it.
So I just watched this recently. This is number 12, and it's called REC, REC. It's
Oh,
in
yes.
Spanish, the whole thing. It's actually from Spain, I guess. It's a found footage film shot in real time, so it increased the sense of realism. The
Okay.
actors were not given full scripts at all, so
Mm,
their reactions were authentic and unrehearsed.
looks
So
like
I
Blair Witch
started to
Project.
talk about this on my other show, Comic Talk, with my friend Brandon. We were talking. I said I saw this movie. Um, I had to watch it for our horror show, and it was good. I mean, it was different because we had to read everything because it was all in Spanish. Um, some of it, the effects were mediocre. Others were absolutely fantastic. I started to describe it as, this film crew follows around this fire department, goes to an apartment building, the police surround it, lock them all in, there's a virus or something, right? He goes, that's quarantine. I said, what's
I
quarantine?
was I
Yeah,
was just about to
same
say
thing.
that.
2008, a year later, it was remade for the US markets and called
Hmm.
Quarantine in English. I had
Yes,
no idea.
yes.
The
You should
sad
see
thing is,
Quarantine. You should see Quarantine.
so
It's
I did
good.
see Quarantine. That's why
Oh,
the whole
good.
time I'm watching this, I'm thinking, I think I saw this before.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Listen, the ending scene is exactly the same in Quarantine as this,
yeah. Is it?
because he showed me the trailer or the end scene of it, and it's night vision of that girl getting pulled back into the
Yeah,
darkness.
yeah,
Ooh.
yeah.
So
Ooh.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It was okay. I made everyone's list that I've seen on top 20 horror movies.
Yeah.
And I thought it was fun. It was a fun time.
Yeah, I must have seen Quarantine first and then I watched our EC or record or whatever we want to call it.
Yeah.
And I watched that Spanish one with Amanda and Antonio, my sister and her husband, and we thought the record REC was kind of silly. Like like we were just making fun of it the whole time. So I say if you were to pick one REC or Quarantine, I'd say choose Quarantine.
I
I like
agree.
Quarantine. I
Yeah,
like that movie. So
I absolutely agree with you on that one. It was there were some silly parts, but it was okay. Good.
mhm.
I think the end scene and the way that they
Yeah,
did the monsters and the people like the old lady that started the whole thing, I thought that was
yeah,
really well done.
agreed. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
So number 13 is Rob Zombie's The Devil's Reject from
Ooh,
2005. Now,
yes,
this was the sequel to House of a Thousand Corpses from
yep,
2003,
yeah,
but Rob wanted to make this one far more grounded and more realistic than what he did with that
and it
House of a
was.
Thousand Corpses. And he wanted to include some horror icons. Sil Haig, rest in peace, and Bill Moseley, as you know, Sil
Hmm.
Haig, of course, played Captain Spaulding.
Yeah.
Um, there was some, Rob Zombie is very much into horrors.
Hmm.
I just love all Rob Zombie. I don't love all of his movies. I couldn't get through the Salem's, whatever the hell that was called, Salem something.
Mm.
And Halloween's were okay, wasn't just that great. I get the whole brutal thing, but I did enjoy Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects. I thought both of those were good, and he had fun with them. Um,
Hmm.
they of course um, had the unrated version come out afterwards in DVD. Of course, his wife
Yeah.
is in it,
Always in it.
Sherry Moon Zombie, um, who most people say can't act her way out of a paper sack, but
Yeah.
it
Sorry.
it was okay. I mean, I think she did what she needed to do in this. And listen, to put his wife in it, why not? It's his
Yeah,
movie.
might as well.
What? I mean, people bitch about it, but who cares? That's his thing. So
Yeah.
it was cool. It was a crazy ending, um,
Hmm.
and it had what I liked about Rob Zombie movies. It had stars from Dawn of the Dead, Trilogy of Terror, Pee Wee's
Oh
Big
yeah.
Adventure. Lots of people that were icons to Rob, and he brought them
Hmm.
into the movies at their, after their fame had expired. So I liked it. I'm glad they did that. It was a fun movie. Um, does it deserve to be in the top 20? I don't think
Yes,
so. Oh, you
I
do.
disagree.
Okay, so
So
tell me why.
yeah, so in high school, you told me to watch this movie, and you told me that because I'm surprised that you're saying it shouldn't be in the top 20 because maybe you were a liar back then because you told me that this movie was amazing because you start to feel bad for the villains in the movie. You start to like feel sympathy for them, when it's getting to
Yeah.
the end of the movie, which
Yeah.
I think is a really interesting theme that you don't normally have in horror. You're always hating the villains or the antagonists. And so I in college when people, you're in class and you're like, "Oh, what's your favorite horror movie or whatever?" I would always say Devil's Rejects. It was always my top number one horror movie. It just has a lot of different themes in it that I like in horror, and so it's always been one of my favorites for sure. And I think I would probably say it's mostly my favorite because you had influenced it,
Thank God I
like
influenced
for
you in
me.
good stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
apparently not, but I
No,
I
listen,
love it.
I loved it. I mean, but to be in the top 20 in a whole decade, there's a lot of good things. And I mean, there's a few movies on this list that I don't agree with. I don't know that
Right.
deserves that, number 13. Ooh, number 13 that it
Oh,
is. But listen, I did feel that when it made that turn where you felt bad of these
yeah.
insane murdering people that you felt sorry for him. It was something that I think Rob, like I know him, um,
Mr. Zombie.
made a really good directorial thing to make you feel that way. I think it was really
Yeah.
well focused, so it was good.
Yeah. I
All right,
like
let's
it.
go to 14, which is from 2007, The Orphanage. Uh,
I
now,
don't know this one.
so man, I'll tell you, one of my favorite guys is Guillermo del Toro.
Oh,
Pan's
okay.
Labyrinth,
Yes.
and just some the stuff that he comes up with in his head is unbelievable. So this was Spain's official submission for Best Foreign Language Film category at the Academy Awards. Um, It was really creepy. They used creepy masks worn by the children in this that were from 20th century Spanish Catholic imagery. So, some of that stuff
Okay.
is weird looking. Anyways, he used that. He creates an atmosphere in every one of his movies that is just off the charts wild. Like the way he can dream things up and then
Hmm.
gets it to film where it looks real. Like you don't
Yeah.
doubt that these creatures are real. In Pan's Labyrinth, where the thing has
The
eyes
hand
and
thing. Yeah.
unbelievable stuff. And I think The Orphanage was just great. It was psychological horror mixed with storytelling, emotions. It was a very unique genre that he created and still continues to create with his style of movies. You can tell it's one of his movies when he has one. I
Yeah.
I absolutely loved it. I think the trailer showed it off very well of just what we were dealing with there. If you wanted to go see this thing, um, the acting was fantastic. It seemed like a very high budget movie, and I imagine it was, but this
Yeah.
was one that I just thought knocked it out of the park. And I don't know if it gets enough love, but
Hmm.
but it's good. It's really, I highly recommend seeing that one.
I feel like once you described it with the mask, I'll have to go back and look at some posters of it. Now I feel like I have seen this movie
I
from
bet
what
you
you're
have. I bet you
describing.
have. It's
Yeah.
it's really, really good. It's
Yeah.
yeah, it's really emotional too. It's not it
Okay.
kind of gets you. So at number 15 is Slither, and I thought the poster for this, there's a girl in the bathtub. Well, I think it's a girl. Maybe it's not. Got shaved legs that are smooth, but it could be anything. And the trailer does confirm it's a girl.
Okay.
And these big old worm things are coming out of the bathtub and they're all
Gross.
over the place. This is Slither, number 15 from 2006, directed by James Gunn. And James Gunn has gone on to do fantastic things. It is one of those things that blends horror and comedy. And it's a big nod to what they did in the 80s. So taking it back 20 years, those 80s
Okay.
things that were fun, that's what they did. So they were slug-like aliens, inspired by the
Gross.
film Night of the Creeps, which was another great one.
Yeah.
It just was one of those films that was a lot of fun to go see. It's definitely a date movie where you could just go and laugh about it, but also get scared. I thought they
Hmm.
did a really good job for a fun, scary, good time movie.
Yeah.
Did
Yeah.
you happen to see that or no?
No, there was like two on this list, two or three that I haven't seen. Unfortunately, Slither is one of them that I have not seen.
Yeah,
Would you recommend to somebody to watch it, or is it
absolutely.
kind of like oh, okay,
Yeah,
all
not,
right,
I mean, if you want to go hardcore like pee your pants scary, no. If you want to laugh, pee your pants, yeah, this is funny.
okay,
So it's a
all right,
funny 80s type horror movie.
yeah.
Listen, 16 though is The Strangers.
Ooh,
And
that's
this was
brutal.
loosely, yeah, this is loosely based on the real life home invasion of like including the Manson family cases and the
Oh,
murders that
yeah,
happened there. So he drew, his name is Brian Bertino, not Brian Bertano or whatever that
okay.
skater guy's name is. Drew inspiration from an experience he had as a child when strangers knocked on his door asking for someone who didn't live there.
Oh,
Ooh. So the film used long moments of silence and subtle sound designs to build tension. And I'll tell you, it worked. This stars Liv Tyler, uh, Steven Tyler's daughter, who did a lot of other things,
mhm.
and those creepy masks, those porcelain doll
Yeah, yeah,
looking
yeah.
masks. I believe they just came out with a new couple of strangers, Prey or
They
something like
did.
that. Yeah.
They did this, but and it was just a direct remake of it. People said it was. I was gonna see it, but people said it kind of stunk, like it wasn't
Yeah.
that good. So,
I
yeah,
heard the same thing last week when I asked about it, that it wasn't anything great at all.
yeah,
This one was good. This was scary.
yes,
You thought, what the hell are these people doing?
yeah,
And the tension that it built in this movie was really good. I mean, you
Yeah,
were on edge the whole movie, I
for
thought.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like this movie. Kind of spoiler alert, but the ending is so depressing. Like you're looking at your husband or your wife or whatever being tortured and like dying. It's a horrible ending.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess it goes with the vibe. But this movie's freaky, scary, super suspenseful. Um, but yeah, like I said, sorry, spoiler alert, but the ending is awful and awful in like a sad, depressing way. It was great, obviously a good movie, but
Yeah, and the
depressing.
trailer was really good. I mean, the trailer, I think they came back to life with this trailer because I think a lot of trailers during the 2000s weren't that great, but this trailer made you want to go watch it. And I mean, I did, and it was really good, and it was brutal. You're right. It
Yeah.
it played on that whole thing of, if you ever thought about it, and I don't know if I'm just weird, but I always thought about if somebody broke in and I think it's been repeated in movies, and they said you got to kill somebody. I think there was a movie just recently. What was that? Cabin and something.
Oh, yeah, I know
Knock
what
at
you're
the
talking
cabin
about.
door where they recreate like you got to kill some of
Yeah.
your family member or the world
Or we're
ends.
gonna just kill you. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So it was
Awful.
yeah, it kind of recreated that. It was very scary.
Yeah.
So number 17, there's a bit of a trend here with remakes, and this is
Hmm.
the remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This was redone in 2003, remake of the 1974. This was
Hmm.
produced by Michael Bay, which
Okay.
is,
Yeah,
superhero
what's he
stuff.
from? Okay, that's what I
All
thought.
kinds of, if it explodes and has a bunch of action, it's a Michael Bay movie, put it that way.
Gotcha.
So, originally, the original guy, Toby or Tobe Hooper, was the executive producer on it, which I thought was really cool to have him
Oh,
included in this.
yeah.
And it was all filmed in Texas at 100-degree heat, intentionally to enhance the film's gritty atmosphere.
Yeah.
And listen, a lot of people think this is better than the original.
I think I'm one of those people, honestly. I like this remake. It's just nasty. It kind of gives me Rob Zombie vibes too. Just
Yeah.
like the weird family, like creepy, weird family that just, I like this movie. I think it's a classic,
Yeah,
I'd
I
say.
I like it too, and I agree. I think it was better than the original, and I can't even think of anything else that I think was, well, except for it, was better than the
Yeah.
original. Um, this one just did well, and they did a great job on the trailer, making you want to go see it. Um, they wrote on it inspired by a true story all over the
Ah,
trailer, so that was cool.
yeah.
The scenes were good, the people were creepy. Of course, they have the meat hooks hanging down from the ceiling to give you
Gross.
an even grosser feel to it. I
Yeah.
think it was really well done for a sequel, and I do recommend this one.
Same.
Obviously, I think it was just great. So another remake at 18 in 2006, they redid The Hills Have Eyes,
Oh, yes. This is my favorite.
and I know
I
you
love
like
this.
this. So now Wes Craven originally did this in 1977.
Uh-huh.
The movie poster is creepy. It's a woman laying down with somebody's hand on her face, and she's looking
Mm,
up at him. It's the same type of scene. Uh,
yep.
Folks traveling in the airstream, a car pulling an airstream out in the
Right.
middle of the desert, and it was brutal. But they toned down all the brutal scenes for the theater. It was too
Really?
much. Yeah, so they included them in the unrated DVD version, which
Which is what
sold
I
very
seen.
well. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. This
It
one's
was
good.
it was good.
Yeah, I don't think I had seen the original. I think I've seen clips, but I think it's like a one-to-one, pretty sim like a total just a like total
Yeah.
remake. Um, I Tony and I watched this a couple weeks ago again. I love this movie. I love the second one too. Um, I'm satisfied with the ending. I mean, obviously, awful things happen throughout, but I was satisfied with the ending. I love the German shepherds in it too, and
Yeah.
they kind of help out and stuff. So that's always great. But yeah, I love this movie. It's a creepy, weird. what are they, mutated people, and so it's a good one. I always think that this one should definitely be watched by horror lovers
So
for
I
sure.
think the makeup team that, you know, they spent hours upon hours transforming those
Oh, I
people
bet.
into mutants. They looked amazing. They
Yeah,
did not look like a makeup job mask or they
yeah.
looked real. Like that was, oh my God, those people are mutated.
Hmm.
I think they just did a really good job on this one. I have no complaints whatsoever, and also highly, highly recommend The Hills Have Eyes from 2006.
And
At
remember
night,
the wait,
go ahead.
before we go to 19, I was just thinking of the that really big fat guy in the wheelchair. When's the last time you saw Hills Have Eyes? Did you watch it like kind of recently or something?
Oh
Or
no,
has it
I
been a while?
probably back then,
Okay, you need to watch
2006.
it again because I just remember that big. There's this like huge, fat, ginormous guy who almost looks like Jabba the Hutt, uh, in like a wheelchair, and he's totally like that makeup is like insane. Whoever, I wonder who the person that did all the makeup is
Let me
because
see who did that.
it's really good because
Oh,
he is
in fact,
nasty looking.
it was Jabba the Hutt that played that
Oh,
part.
oh, oh, okay, that's what I
So
thought. I think he was
perfect,
cast in that.
perfect.
All right, go
So
on to the next.
19 is Signs from
That's my
2002.
scariest movie ever. That's Signs and Leprechaun. Those are my top scariest movie in the world.
So this is M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong again.
Oh, yes.
Is inspired to write the film after seeing crop circles. Okay, got it. Um, he wanted to focus more on the physiological aspects. I'm sorry, the psychological aspects of the film, um, about an alien invasion rather than the grand spectacle of it. So that's why it was taking place
Okay.
at a little farm out in the middle of nowhere, and it was really revolved around the family dealing with that.
Hmm.
And the script, of course, was tailored for Mel Gibson and Joaquin Phoenix in their role as brothers. So they created it for them. I thought this movie was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Yes, it was so scary. So, look, I'm choking already because of, or in the last series, I said my top two fears: leprechauns and aliens. So, Signs is the scariest movie in the world to me, besides Leprechaun. The scene
Signs
where
doesn't
he's
have leprechauns.
I said besides
Oh,
Leprechaun.
okay.
The scene where the birthday scene was like, and then you just see like the alien walking by on the
Yes.
TV.
Like
So
the one
scary.
behind you.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna say that because I'm getting chills just thinking about it. Aliens are so scary to me. I love this movie when I really want to get myself freaked out, but I have to watch it with somebody. But I think this movie is amazing. It's so scary, so spooky. The only thing I would say is when it starts getting to the end and you actually see the aliens, they're not like they look too fake, I guess. Like I wish they didn't show the alien because I wanted that fear of just like knowing they're there. But then when you actually see them, it's like not as like scary anymore, I guess.
Yeah, I just think it's one of those movies that's one that M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong did a really good job on. You know, he had of course Sixth Sense, a few
Hmm.
others that I not been thrilled with, but this one he nailed it. And
Hmm.
you know, just the whole gotta save your family, gotta protect your family, do whatever. You're out in the middle of nowhere, yet you can see on TV that these aliens are coming down. So I thought that built a lot into it.
For
I
sure.
I really thought this was just a super, super well done movie. And again, the trailer and the movie poster was enticing enough to get people to see it. And boy, did they. I think this is
Yeah,
one that you can go back to now and it holds up very well.
definitely.
That it's just it's good.
Yeah, it's one I'll watch again and again for sure.
Now, this one shocked the hell out of me. At number 20, this was billed as See Paris Die. This is called House of Wax
Oh,
from
yes.
2005.
I love
On
this movie.
on on all the I mean, first of all, the movie poster was great. It looked like it's Paris Hilton dripping of wax dead. But that's what they, you know, it said pray, slay, display. But really they used to push this tagline in marketing called See Paris Die. And at the time, Paris
Really?
Hilton was really popular or not popular. You either loved her or hated her.
Right.
And so this was, I think, her first movie she did. I don't know how much she's in this thing because
Not
I
very
think, in
long.
fact, she does die
She does.
to the roar of the crowd, which is kind of sad. Um,
She dies a very brutal death, and it's very iconic.
oh, really?
Yeah. When's the last time you've seen this? Has it been a
Probably
while?
2007, 2 years after it was released.
Okay, yeah, I've seen it many, many times in the last like 5 years. Because I love this movie, but it's the scene where she falls and gets impaled through her head.
Oh,
And you
good.
just see her sitting there, and it's just like, but this, I love House of Wax. There's a lot of iconic scenes. I'm gonna just mention a couple. There's one where the girl gets taken by the crazy guy in the gas station, and she's down below, and her like boyfriend or friend is up above, and she can't talk because the guy glued her lips
Yeah,
together. So
yeah,
she sticks her finger out of the like the grating of the
yeah.
street, and then the guy chops her finger off, and it's horrible, and she can't even scream to react because her lips are glued together. Then there's another scene where somebody's running away and gets their ankle sliced with scissors.
I saw that.
Uh,
Yeah,
Horrible. And then the last part I want to mention, sorry, there's just so many iconic parts, but he's sitting, they I don't know, they don't kill the people, but they sit them there and then they cover them with wax, but they're still alive. And so there's a scene where one of their friends was covered in wax. He's at the piano or like, in the House of Wax, the museum or whatever. And
yeah.
they come up to them and they're like, oh my God, like, we got to save you. So they try to pull the wax off his face and they pull his literal skin off and you just see all his teeth, his whole jaw.
Ugh.
It's so, and he's sitting there and you can see tears dropping down because he's like alive and his eyes are like, oh my God, please stop. Like, it's just crazy. This movie's nasty and it's amazing. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, a remake of the 1953 Vincent Price movie, which I did
Wait,
watch
it's
that.
a remake?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Oh,
Vincent Price
well,
starred in The House of
okay.
Wax. Really good movie. I suggest watching that as well. Maybe
Yeah,
I'll go
I
back
didn't
and
know
watch
that.
this House of Wax. The problem with the marketing of this movie was if you weren't a Paris Hilton fan, you were not going to see it waste money to see Paris die because you didn't care anyway.
Yeah, I
So
mean, she
I
dies
didn't
pretty soon.
understand why they leaned on it so heavily. And especially if you think it's such a good movie, that may have hurt it a little bit. I don't know how the numbers on the box office for that, but
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe I'll go check it out after what you talked about. So
I love it.
that's our number 20. Let's take our bonus one. And the bonus one I chose for this decade is from
Okay.
2008, and this was Cloverfield, which
Oh, that's a
I
good one.
thought the marketing campaign for this was so great. So it was viral, it was secretive, there was no title, no clear details revealed about it until shortly before its release. You
Oh,
just
wow.
heard like found footage, the found footage style.
Did it say like end of the world type? Did
It
it give
was
that
just
off at all?
it was so weird because you saw like urban destruction scenes very much compared to the real life destruction and disasters like 9/11. It was
Hmm.
done by Matt Reeves and J.J. Abrams, which is known for that mystery style of storytelling. You didn't know what to expect. You certainly didn't know what the monsters looked like. And I mean, there was theories like it's Godzilla style movie, it's zombies. You didn't know when it actually turned out to be these giant things. And
Yeah,
if I remember right, you don't even see it till the very
I don't think so. Yeah, in the
last part of
ending.
it, if I remember right. But I thought the survival, the portrayal of how they had to survive, the found footage, the army taking things on, the buildings collapsing.
Ugh.
I mean, the budget had to be huge for this thing. I
Yeah, I
thought
would think
it
so.
was super, super well done, and really, I enjoyed every bit of it. I had a blast watching this thing. It
Yeah,
was just it was great, and I think they came out with one sequel, maybe two, for this.
okay. I think there's one other. I don't know if there's a third.
It's like
Yeah, I can't.
Cloverfield Lane or Cloverfield something.
Oh,
Um,
hmm,
Let me look.
Yeah, I like this movie. I definitely have seen it a few times. The whole end of the, well, it's, I know it's monsters and stuff, but it still has that end of the world vibe.
Yeah.
I know I've said my top two fears, aliens and leprechauns. Well, my third fear is the end of the world. And so this movie, I wouldn't see it again because it's too scary. Um, but it is a good movie. I remember seeing it. It does make you, I remember it making me a little nauseous with the found footage type
Yeah,
thing
a
because
lot of
of,
people said that in this movie that did,
yeah.
if you did have that motion sickness, that this
Hmm.
would do that. And I do get that. I won't even get on a swing. Um, but yeah, so there was 10 Cloverfield Lane, and then it said as of September 3rd, 2024, officially giving up on the long-awaited sci-fi sequel. So I guess
Oh,
it's
so
not
there wasn't.
happening.
Oh, oh,
So
that, that.
yeah, I mean, it was fun. I recommend it. It was a blast. It was just something that I think everybody should go see. I think it was
Yeah,
one of my favorite found footage things. Blair Witch was okay, wasn't the greatest.
love it.
Paranormal Activity didn't scare me, and I'm a chicken, so
Crazy.
that's saying a lot. But this one, I thought they did a really, really good job of the found footage, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So that was
Yeah.
our bonus film. Anything to add on Cloverfield?
No, just that it makes you a little nauseous. If you
Yeah.
have a fear of the end of the world, don't watch it. No, but I do think I remember seeing it and it was a really, really good film. I haven't seen it since, but I remember it being really, really good. And like that found footage stuff is, I like that genre of horror. So
Yeah.
if you're into found footage, definitely one to watch.
Yeah, good stuff. So that is our top 20 best of decade horrors for 2000s,
Woo-woo.
plus a bonus. And
Hmm.
so next week we will do the 2010s, which is more of your favorites,
Yes.
and we'll talk through that. So like and subscribe, please. Take a look. Share this with your friends. Share it with people. It's almost Halloween. How many days till Halloween? Do you know?
I don't know, but sometime it's happening.
Yeah, today's the
15,
13th.
16.
It's the 13th of October today.
Ooh,
So,
October 13th.
ooh, another 13. So, share it with your friends, pass this around. We're just doing it for fun. We're not making money or trying to monetize.
What? I'm not getting paid?
No, we're not. Not pennies on the dollar. But this is it. And thanks, Danielle, for doing this and getting off
Yeah.
your butt on a Sunday to do it. And we'll do this again next week with the 2000s. In the
Yep.
meantime, thanks
2000,
everyone.
2010s,
Oh yeah,
2010s.
2010. Sorry. 2010. What's a 2010 movie that you know of?
I literally can't think of anything
Way
right
to go.
now.
Way to go. That's preparation. So
Woo.
we'll be back in a week or so, and thanks for tuning in.
Yep. Thank you.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.